What is up, everybody? I feel like we should have funeral music today, man. It's a sad day in Niner land. We're happy about the playoffs in another week, but I told Rogers we're going to have to talk about this for a while.
Yeah.
The San Francisco 49ers have lost assistant GM Adam Peters to the Washington Commanders. Well, he will become the GM. This man, whether you want to agree with it or not, has been behind the building of this roster since 2017. And if there was one thing that I didn't want to have happen this offseason or early offseason or whatever, was that. And it happened. And I saw it. I'm very sure Rob posted it, like 11 other people posted it. I was just like, Raj, how you feeling?
Yeah, how's it going, man? I'm good. It's Friday. We got no games. We get to rest. But yeah, it is a little unfortunate the 49ers lose Adam Peters. This guy's been, again, in my opinion, I feel like he's had his fingerprints on a lot of the draft picks. He may not have drafted every single one of these late round gems, but I think his scouting eye has been a big integral part. Like we've seen him, go out there and be John Lynch's right hand man. He's kind of like the lieutenant to John Lynch. So it's a tough loss. He's a big part of this organization, but I'm happy for the guy. I think it's a fantastic opportunity. And I think because Bob Myers, who went to Washington, that's his good friend. They're like guys from UCLA. It makes sense. I kind of knew the writing was on the wall. Over the last couple of years, he turned down many opportunities to stay with the 49ers. And I'm happy that he did, but it is a business and you can't let anybody be held back. And I think this is going to be a great opportunity for him. And hopefully he could turn around that franchise. And, the one thing I take away from this every year, we're sitting here talking about, with Niners lose coaches, front office members, and this and that. The 49ers run the league, bottom line. Look around the league. Look around, Aaron, and see how many former Niners, players, coaches, executives are on teams and they're successful. Look at the playoffs. You got D'Amico Ryans, Mike McDaniel. It's amazing.
Yeah, I was talking to my brother about it. I said, whether you want to admit it or not, the Niners have a kind of a overarching kind of hold on the league. The only thing the Niners haven't done essentially is win that big game, and they have their opportunity. All they got to do is win 3 straight games, and they're champs. And it sounds a lot easier than it actually is. But I was the reason I was very down about it. Not you want anybody to, get a promotion and move on and do what's best for his family. Although moving to the East Coast, I don't know. I know he's been a West Coast guy, so the money must have been really fire. He's got the number two pick in the draft and a lot of salary cap money. So it's a pretty delectable, tantalizing carrot being waved in front of him. So props to him.
Yeah.
I just a lot of people don't necessarily think he's really responsible for a lot of the talent we have on this team. They think it's John Lynch and Kyle, and that couldn't be further from the truth. Now, I don't want to undercut either the coach or the GM, but I think he's been an integral part. And when you keep losing guys that are part of that culture, eventually it's going to start to show with some of the results you have as far as drafting. But I would assume the Niners have some backup plans and scouts and other people within the team that they can promote. At least I hope they do. But it's definitely something to where when I saw the news, I kind of knew it was coming, but I still didn't want to give in. So props to Adam Peters. He might not be the only one leaving. We got a train of people that might be heading out the door. Before we talk about that, I just want to say hi to the crew real quick. The audience that was here before the show started. Raphael 562, always in the house. Thank you so much. We got Big Dad E in the house. I've never seen you before, so if you've been in the stream, I haven't noticed you. Thanks for coming through. We have Omar saying, "What up, Aaron and Raj and Niner family?" We have, of course, my better half, Jupiter Size. She said she would be here, and she's here, so I appreciate it. We have Sharisa Collins. I don't recognize you. Maybe you're from Raj's channel. I'm not 100%, but either way, thank you for coming through. Christine Workman, another now constant in the stream. Thank you so much. Appreciate you coming through. We got Carl Thomas in the house, new to the. I would assume new here. Maybe I haven't seen you. We got Della 1122 or 1122. He says, I'm excited to find out who we play next weekend. Go Niners. Yeah, me too. We got the one and only Bring Tom Ocean in the house. What's up, my man? Hector. A lot of names I don't recognize here, man. This is great. David McNiner, of course, you guys know him from the Monday show that we do, and he's always on with Brian Culp, like, 20 times a week. So if you miss our Monday show, don't worry. They stream a lot with each other. We have Bomber T. He says, bang, bang, Niner gang. Purdy's going to do his thing. Let's hope so.
Yes, sir.
What else? We got Randy the Elite Daytona. We have Lulu Gust. And we got a lot of people in here.
We got a lot of people today, baby. So good stuff.
So, and a new one, a couple new ones down at the bottom here. A couple, 3, 4. Shalonda Metcalf. Thank you for the thumbs up, the muscle arm. We got Kanan. Guys are playing tricks on me. Kanan Davis. Thank you for coming through. So, yeah, I said other people are going to be heading out the door. Let's talk about a couple. There's 3 of them, actually.
Yeah. So let's talk about. I want to still kind of touch base on Adam Peters real quick because, you mentioned something saying that Adam Peters deserves credit for the draft picks, and there's a lot of people they were like arguing all over Twitter, like, oh, Adam Peters didn't have anything to do with it. I think people like to say that to soften the blow of him leaving, because obviously whenever you lose someone in your organization or any job or whatever, you want to like make it say, oh, it's not that big of a loss. But Adam Peters to me is a big loss. Like, he deserves credit. John Lynch deserves credit. Kyle Shanahan, whoever's been in that front office deserves credit. But there's like I remember when George Kittle was drafted, and they directly said, there's like a video out there. I can't remember the video, but I'll have to find it. There's a video where it shows like Adam Peters was a guy that like looked at him and he was like, man, I really think this guy could be special. Obviously, Kyle Shanahan probably saw his abilities and it's like, oh man, I like his blocking. But I definitely think Adam Peters had a big knack for that, for those late round guys. Like, he's a good scout, whether you like it or not, whether you agree with it or not. He definitely had a part in it. Whether it was he the main reason those guys are drafted, who knows? But I think he was a big reason for a lot of those guys to be drafted. And now he goes to Washington, like you said, with a lot of cap space, with a lot of good draft picks. And we'll see. Now we get to really see if he goes out there and he drafts this fantastic team, he puts this like fantastic team together in Washington, then we're going to be like, oh yeah, guess what? He was probably a big part of the 49ers. But people, when everybody leaves, they got to make it, they got to justify that it's okay for them. And you know what? It's okay to be upset. It's okay to be like, dang, that's going to be a big loss. Because to me, in my eyes, Adam Peters is going to be a loss that's like not, you don't just replace him overnight. There's going to have to be a process. They're going to have to find, play people that can replace him and do that job. I mean, I'm sure they have in-house candidates, and I'm sure, there's people that were mentioned on Twitter today. Tariq Ahmad, he's a director of college scouting. RJ Gillian, he's the director of pro scouting. Those are 2 guys that could take that leap to the next step, assistant GM. And again, the 49ers have a great front office. You don't become the number 1 seed with 7 All-Pros and 9 Pro Bowlers without a good front office. It's not just one guy. It's not just Adam Peters. Again, it is going to be a big loss, but I'm sure they have a multitude of great front office members that can replace him. But in the end, I wish him well, and I hope he makes that Washington team so good with everybody else, because I hate Dallas. I hate the Eagles. Let's see Washington run that NFC East. I would love to see it. So props to Adam Peters. Appreciate him. It's going to be missed. Now to answer the second part of that question, yeah, the 49ers have a lot of people that are being targeted every year, right? We got Steve Wilkes, Falcons and Chargers, and then you have Clint Kubiak from, I think who was it that is poaching him? Somebody wants him as the offensive coordinator. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I can't either. I know, because it was him, and then also they're looking at Brian Greasy as well.
Let's see. Yeah, that's not an official report, but I wouldn't be surprised if Brian Greasy's name's been.
Oh, okay. Well, I take your. I want to. Comment on Attorney Dan real quick.
It's the Bears that are looking at
the Bears.
The Bears, yes.
Attorney Dan says, Commander fan here. This is payback for taking Trent Williams. Listen, you're getting yourself, if we are correct, a guy that finds gems late in the draft. Hell, we got Brock Purdy because, a lot of us think for Adam Peters. So you got essentially you have an empty canvas with all that cap space and those high draft picks to essentially build Washington what they've been. I mean, they've been a bad team for a long time. They've been getting kicked by the Cowboys and the Eagles for a bit. It's time to kick back. It's time to take over the NFC West because I have friends of the family that I've known for years that have been Redskins/Commander fans. Man, they're depressed. So hopefully this brings them some not payback, but some much needed relief. But you still got to go out there and build it.
Yeah.
I don't get as excited with the draft anymore because that always meant that we sucked. So in a way, it's kind of like a double-edged sword. But thanks for coming through. I've never seen you before. I probably won't see you again because you're a Commanders fan. But thanks for coming and commenting on the channel. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you, Attorney Dan. You know what, though? It's a soul for a soul, an eye for an eye. You gave us Trent for pretty much nothing. Well, here you go. You can have Adam Peters, and we get nothing in return because he's not a minority, so you don't get any comp picks. But yeah, enjoy Adam Peters. Treat him well, like we've treated Trent Williams well. I mean, again, it is what it is. I'm happy for Adam, man. I'm super happy he gets this opportunity, and I want him to prove people that he is a good, like, you know, eye for talent. I want to see Washington be successful so we can see, like, yeah, damn, Adam Peters was damn good. That's what I want. I want nothing but success for Washington, unless they play us. I want the Niners to beat them. But yeah, good luck to them.
Aaron doesn't respect Bruce Lee. That's kind of an odd statement, I guess. Whatever.
Big Tommy.
Commanders are commanding mediocrity.
Right now, they are.
Always talking that ass, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Bashar ain't having it. Bashar ain't down with all the good feelings and hugs and handshakes. He's like, too bad they couldn't beat us on the field.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's just all like love each other for a bit because we lost him. He's not with us anymore. I had a discussion offline with a friend who he doesn't really come on the channel. You'll comment on videos and stuff. His name is Luke Luna. Some people know who he is.
Yeah.
And he essentially we got into a disagreement about the importance of kind of like of Adam Peters and John Lynch. And then we kind of both thought when it actually happened, he's like, I did not expect him. Even though he thinks John Lynch deserves more credit than I give him, because I think more of him as a figurehead, kind of like a CEO type, stand in front of the media, take all the hate, let everybody else hide behind the scenes. Maybe he has gotten really good he's been here since 2017. That's what, 7 years, 6, 7. Yeah. So I don't know, man. We'll see. We're gonna find out. I would assume, like I said, they got guys in the background who we don't really know about that Raj might know about because he's kind of connected with things, unlike me. So if Raj says that there's people within the organization that have maybe a chance at that job, then I 100% believe it. I have no reason not to. So
I mean, the 49ers always like to try to hire from within, and then if not, they'll outsource. Because Kyle and John, I'm sure they know a lot of people, a lot of connections, but that's what they do. Like, look at the coaching tree. Kyle Shanahan has had a heck of a coaching tree. Like, he gets these guys, he brings them in. Sometimes you never heard of them. When he first came in, they had Robert Salah. Nobody knew who Robert Salah was. Quality control coach, and then he worked his way up the rankings. Kyle brings him in, and now he's a head coach. D'Amico Ryans, he was kind of waiting in the wings, although we knew him from his playing days. But the 49ers have great coaches, and that's what they're known for, and that's why they get poached every year. And, yeah, I think the 49ers will be able to absorb this and figure out the next guy. Maybe it's going to be in-house again, but maybe it's going to be someone that they have kind of waiting in the wings, stashed somewhere. We don't know, but I think it's definitely going to be one of those situations where the 49ers know who they want. I feel like Kyle and John Lynch, they do a great job in terms of getting this team the people they need and the right family basically to run this operation. And you got to think about John Lynch. I think a lot of people don't give him enough credit. Like you said, I honestly give John Lynch a lot of credit. I think he's been a great GM. When they first took over, they made some mistakes. They made some rookie mistakes. Obviously, passing on a quarterback that first year and trying to get Solomon Thomas. You live, you learn, you make mistakes. But I feel like the last couple of years, Lynch has figured it out, man. Like, he's got it. He's become aggressive. He makes mid-season trades. He makes moves during the season when you're like, okay, this guy's hurt. Let's go sign. Let's go get Randy Gregory. Let's go get Logan Ryan. We got a bunch of people injured. Let's go get Eric Harris. Okay, let's go get CMC. Let's go get Chase Young. Like the 49ers have become such an aggressive team. Go trade draft picks. F these picks, right? Before they wanted to hold on to those draft picks. They were like, cool, we need a quarterback. Here you go, Miami. It didn't work out, but they're willing to take the risks. They're trying to get that Super Bowl. And I think a lot of that is John Lynch. And I don't think he's just the face. I think he is a good voice for this team. I think he's been a great GM and now president. I think that was his initial role, is because he's so good at speaking. You know, he used to be an announcer. He's good at public speaking. He's smart. He's a Stanford guy. Like, he's smart. And I think he utilizes that well to portray, the voice, I'm the face of this team. But I think he makes a lot of decisions. He's a very smart guy. He's been in the league, as a Hall of Fame safety. I think he knows talent, and I think he's a big part of it. But I feel like his right-hand man was Adam Peters. But, I mean, this front office, I feel like, has done a stand-up job. And John Lynch needs credit. Kyle Shanahan doesn't get enough credit. I was talking to someone last night, and they were slamming Kyle. Oh, he's a choker, and he's not going to get it done, and I'm not going to give him credit until he figures it out. I'm like, dude, I'm tired of people hating on Kyle. Like, I've been
Why be that kind of Niners fan? Why live like that?
It's just silly, man. Like, I get it. He's
such a waste.
I get it. 2018. Like, I know he's had like his downfalls, but I feel like this is the year with this talent, this team. Brock Purdy, he hasn't had a quarterback. Like, look at Andy Reid, and I always use the Andy Reid example, because he was a coach that got so close, and he couldn't get it together. He finally got the quarterback, and now he's become a legend. And I think Kyle Shanahan finally got his quarterback, and I think he's on the cusp of finally getting the monkey off his back. But they deserve the credit, because, again, look around the league. So many 49ers are in a big role, coaching job, coordinator position, front office position, like Bobby Slowick, right? He used to be the passing game coordinator. That's the guy Clint Kubiak took over for, right? So that guy, he went to Houston with D'Amico. Obviously, D'Amico is going to take guys he knows from the Niners. But now he's getting looks to become a head coach. Like, that is the Kyle Shanahan tree. Like, he produces some great coaches. Put some respect on that, man. And speaking of the coaches, I want to ask you. So, yeah, we might lose Clint Kubiak. We might lose Steve Wilkes. I don't know if we will, but if we do, like, it's tough, because now we got to go into these playoffs knowing we might lose a coach. It's hard to focus when you have all this outside stuff going on. So, yes, I know this team is great, and all they got to do is win 3 games, but there's a lot of outside stuff. How can they stay focused? And do you think this is a big distraction for the team? What are your thoughts on it?
I hope it's not a big distraction, because you're going to play into a lot of 49er fans' fears, including mine, that this might be the end of an era, losing Adam Peters, that maybe that Super Bowl window is starting to close. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily believe in that. I think the Niners, as long as Lynch and Shanahan are there, they're going to figure out a way to have a competitive roster. I like the way Cosmo here says, I like Peters, but still say they need fresh ideas. Too many first and second round misses. 100%. There's always room for new ideas and a fresh way of thinking. Not everything Adam Peters and John Lynch did, like Raj said, was golden. They messed up they've missed on some major draft picks. Solomon Thomas, Reuben Foster, Jalen Hurd. They drafted freaking what's his face? CJ Beathard, thinking he was the future quarterback of this team. Who else? They brought in who's that idiot that they brought in from the Bucks that was always hurt? The linebacker. I wasn't a big fan of him because he was always hurt all the time.
Malcolm Smith.
They've made a lot of mistakes. Yeah. But then I look at it like this. A couple years ago, remember how many coaches went out the door? Thank you for the Dante Pennis, by the way. I think that was the one I missed. Oh. Remember when all the coaches and all those people went out the door in that one off season? It was like 11 or 12. Mm-hmm. We're actually a better coach team now after all those departures. So thank you, Quan Alexander. Thank you, Pockets.
Oh, yeah.
It's not always all bad. I'm not a gray area type of guy. I'm kind of black or white. So for me, I'm going to need to be proven wrong about this Adam Peters things, because I'm a little bit skeptical. I mean, like, I don't know how they couldn't. Did they just not want to pay him, or did they really want him to get his own fresh team all to himself? Who knows?
So let me go. So I get it. Yeah, no, and I know why a lot of again, I think it's definitely going to be a big loss, but I think the Niners can eventually get it right, because they have a great front office, John Lynch and everybody. Like I think over the years they've learned. When they first took over, they were new to this whole thing, and you're gonna make mistakes, but it's a lot better than when they had Chip Kelly and Jim Tomsula and Dennis Erickson. There were some bad years for 49ers. Like I remember these dark days. I mean, there were some good years, Jim Harbaugh, but Balky kind of messed that up. But if you really think about it, this is one of the best regimes the 49ers have ever had. Like it's amazing, man. The talent they've put together, the draft, you're not going to hit on everybody. You're going to make some misses. You're going to make some hits. I wish they would have had some better hits early rounds, but for all the early round, misses they've made, they've kind of hit on so many late round picks. It kind of washes out. It kind of evens out. But in terms of Brian or Adam Peters, like I think a part of it was himself. Like maybe he didn't want to be in the shadows of a John Lynch. Maybe he wanted his own opportunity. Maybe the money was good. Like there's a lot of factors that I think that could have persuaded him to go to Washington. And again, maybe he just wants his own team to go out there and prove, like, yeah, you know what? I can do this. I can be an icon. Like, if he turns around a team like Washington, this guy's going to be loved there forever. They'll love him for the rest of his life because Washington is a storied franchise. They've won Super Bowls. Like, they want glory back. Like, my guy, Turdy Dan, in the comments, he said I'm sure he remembers the years where Washington was a dominant team in the NFL and they were on top of that division. So if you live in that area, you get a guy like Adam Peters and he restores glory, that's going to be great for him. And I'm sure he's thinking, like, man, I could really become my own legend, a Washington Commanders legend, like turn this team around. So I think that's part of it. And again, I think the other factor is Bob Myers. That's his guy, man. When you are
Crazy.
doing things with like your friends and you're doing things with people that you like truly respect, you love it. Like it's not a job. It's just like, man, you go to work, you go. It's like going to your boy's house. It's like me and you. We do the stream every week, and it's like fun. It's like I have a great time doing it. It's a
And
pleasure.
we
I'm not.
talk and we talk outside the stream.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? So like, if me and you,
Just
if we were like Bob Myers and Adam Peters, we'd be like, yo, let's go run a team together. It's like the dream when you're boys. So I think that's part of it.
I totally forgot about the Bob Myers component. I'm not a basketball fan, or at least I'm not anymore. And I'm kind of seeing what's going on with the Warriors. They're at the end of a dynasty, and they have to unfortunately go through some dark days again. I was listening to KNBR. I'm not a big KNBR guy anymore. I've kind of gone to more 95.7 a game, but they made a good point of like you either hang on to these guys and just continue to go through something with no hope,
Mm-hmm.
or you start to trade off pieces and hopefully in 5 to 6 years with better draft picks and this, that, and the other, you start to rebuild and it's the same with football. Like you have to give to get. If you're not willing to spend the money and you're not willing to go through the pain of a bad season and you keep putting little band-aids on things, you're never going to get any better. And the Commanders pretty much were like, all right, ripping the band-aid off. We got rid of our crap ass owner from before. Now we got this new front office. Now we're bringing in a real GM from a real team. We got money. We got good draft picks. So let's do this. And so the Niners went through a lot of bad stuff to get to where they are. The ultimate would be winning the Super Bowl. We need to win the next 3 games. That's it. And I don't really care. I don't really care what happens after that as long as we get it this year. If we lose some guys from the front office and maybe we have a wild card season next year, I'm willing to take that if we get a chip this year, to be honest with you.
Bro, we haven't won a Super Bowl since 1994.
Yeah,
I
I was a
whatever
freshman in high school, people. I
that,
weighed 145 pounds, okay?
bro. I was
Yeah.
10 years. We need a Super Bowl. I haven't seen one as an adult. Like I was
Yeah,
10 years old, fifth grade. I need to see a Super Bowl as an
so
adult.
do
I
I.
go to the
I want to
parade.
see one before I die.
Yeah, 100%.
With
I need
with like
I need to
within
take my daughter to the parade, man. That's what we need to do. I need to say, call into school, hey, she's sick today. She's got
we
Nineritis.
going to the
I
parade.
don't know what's going on. Hey, baby girl, get you Niner. We are going to the parade. Like, that's what I need. My man, let's talk about this. We had 7 All Pros, 5 first teamers,
Okay.
2 second teamers.
Yep.
He pulled a list out in case
I
anybody
think
gets.
I got a graphic here for you.
Pull it up. Pull the
I
graphic up.
might I might have it. I might not.
Get the graphic up. Let's
Here it
see it.
is.
Okay. Let's go. Look at that. 7 All Pros, man. We have Kyle Juszczyk, the first time fullback was ever allowed to become an All-Pro. This is the first year. He's been fighting for that, finally gets recognized. George Kittle, the only tight end to get 1,000 yards receiving this year. Trent Williams, the freaking perennial All-Pro. All-Pro Fred Warner, this is one of the only unanimous All-Pros, and Christian McCaffrey. Those two guys were two of only 3 players to be unanimous All-Pros. The other guy, Tyreek Hill, and then second team All-Pros, Brandon Ayuk and Mooney Ward. And you know what's crazy? Brandon Ayuk didn't make the Pro Bowl, but he makes the All-Pro list. So I love to see that for him. This man's going to get paid so much this offseason. But shout out to the Niners.
Where's Debo? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, I think he could have been on second team, but that receiver list is pretty good. Like Mike Evans, CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill. You can't really argue with that. They were great. Receiver loaded in the NFL. So the fact that Brandon Ayuk got to be a second team All-Pro, and he's kind of like maybe the third target on the Niners, is impressive, man. This guy had a very, very efficient season, career high in yards. He's going to get paid a lot, Darren. But what do you think about all those All-Pros, man?
Deserving. Really good team, coached by really good coaches from a really good front office. Credit again to Adam Peters and all those other people. And I told people early in this year that we got to live in this renaissance that the 49ers are going through right now and just enjoy it. I can't be those people that are like waiting for the sky to fall, or because it's not their quarterback, they're just like sitting there always mad, with the uptight sphincter, just pissed off and miserable. Why? Why be that person? I don't understand it. So I refuse. Like I'm a pretty negative guy.
Yeah.
When it comes to the Niners, because I've been hurt. It's like, breakups with girls and stuff. After a while, you just become a little bit jaded.
Yeah.
But I dropped the wall. Kind of a thing with my life right now too. I finally lowered that wall and, let it back in after a long, long time without, any happiness. And it's like, I'm glad I did. So same thing with the Niners. Like, I'm sorry. I'm when I see all these players and how good they're doing and they're all on these lists and everything, it's great. But to be honest, perfectly 100%, I just want a Super Bowl.
Yeah, yeah.
I really don't. I don't give about any of this other stuff. After the season, it would make good topic and good fodder for a live stream to just talk about everything this year and all these great things that the Niners accomplished. But right now, in my mind, all I cared about is winning next 3. That's it.
Yeah,
all I care about.
At the end of the day, like, it's great to see all these accolades. It's cool for the players because they work their butts off, and it's great to see them get recognition because we cheer for them. We love, to see them do great, and it's nice to see them get accolades. But at the end of the day, in the grand scheme of things, nothing matters unless they win a Super Bowl. Like, because you could win all these awards, all these accolades, you can be the greatest team in the world, but if you don't get that championship, it's like, dang, man, you failed. You literally failed. It's like, you remember the Patriots a couple years back. They were undefeated, like the most legendary season. They were undefeated, marched into the Super Bowl, and it was like, oh my God, are they going to finish this entire season without losing a game? They lose the most important game of the year. They lose the Super Bowl. It's like, it didn't matter. You were undefeated. You set all these records. Who cares? You didn't finish the job. So I feel like you're right. If the 49ers don't win 3 games in this playoff run, it's going to be like, dang, man.
It's going to be tough.
It's a letdown.
It's going to be a huge letdown because how much longer can you keep putting this team together? You got to pay people, People get old. In a couple of years, you're going to have to start looking to the future with guys like Kittle. Trent Williams is going to leave the building. Like, you got to, I'm listening to Kittle talk about sense of urgency. There better be a sense of urgency.
Absolutely. He's not getting Trent Williams isn't getting younger.
Nobody's getting young. I'm not getting any younger. Can we win the Super Bowl before I'm 50, please? That's all I'm asking. Because, my memory might start going. I might start yelling at the wind when it blows. Like, I need to have this Super Bowl. Somebody was talking in here, and it didn't, anyways, but where is it? Whatever. I missed a comment. I was going to say something, but I completely forgot.
So I want to bring this up because Miguel says Brock Purdy is an All-Pro. In my eyes, so Brock Purdy didn't get an All-Pro nod. And again, I know you don't care about. I guess I know your answer is probably going to be,
No, this one I kind of do.
So do you think Brock Purdy should have been an All-Pro? He was third, right behind Dak
Yes.
Prescott. So it was Lamar and Dak, and then Brock. Like to me,
Yes.
it's an incredible achievement for Brock to be third in All-Pro voting in his first full year as quarterback. Like that's incredible. But should he have been second year All-Pro? I think so. And now the second question that I'll ask you, and I want your opinion is: so he didn't get the All Pro nod, right? Obviously, he was a Pro Bowler because of the fact that they voted for him like crazy. So like you, that was kind of one reason why he got those votes. The fans saw him, the fans respected him, but the media, they don't respect him. When you get the All Pro, I feel like that's more of the media voting for you. So that tells me that when it's, award season, when the MVP's dealt out, offensive player, all those awards, they're not even going to look at Purdy, man. So I don't think he's getting respected in the media. And that's what it tells me by him not being a second team All Pro. I think he should at least be a second team All Pro. But what's your take on Brock Purdy, being third on the All Pro list, basically?
Now, well, I agree that we just should be focusing, at least that the players should be focusing on the playoffs.
Yeah.
I made a short today and I straight up said, 5 All Pros first team, 2 All Pros second team. And of course, the 2 that everybody's talking about that didn't make it were Brock Purdy and Nick Bosa.
Mm-hmm.
And while Nick Bosa, I think, had a really down year and has really played very below standard, Brock Purdy was top 3 quarterback in the NFL, top 2, maybe top 1 at some point. And I'll continue to say this: his draft stock, his size, and his weapons will always be held against him.
I agree.
It's always going to happen.
I agree.
And a lot of these writers are just they can't move past it.
Yeah.
They can't move past the fact that a team decided to go with a last pick in the draft quarterback who's got a small arm, who isn't big, who can't throw the ball deep, doesn't look impressive, over a guy who has all the requisite talent. They just can't let it go.
I agree. I think the media just can't get over the fact that he was the last pick in the draft. They're like, it can't be. It can't be. He was the last pick of the draft. He's good because of the weapons. He's good because of all these all pros around him. He's good because they got Trent Williams, Kyle Juszczyk, Brandon Ayuk, Kittle, CMC. See, they're all pros. That's why Brandon Ayuk, or that's why Debo or Brock Purdy's good. That's why he's good. And it sucks because I don't think he's ever going to get the respect he deserves until he gets multiple Super Bowls and a Super Bowl MVP. Like he has to put that.
And he might not even get it then.
He might not. You might be right because it's still going to be, oh, well, he has Kittle, he has all these guys, and he's a system. It's still going to be people saying he's a system. It sucks, man. He just doesn't get respect. I hope he continues to play with the bag of Doritos on his shoulder. Like, that's the mentality I would have if I'm Brock. Like, okay, you don't believe in me? I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to keep proving you wrong. You know what, though? In a way, it's good because he's going to go out there and play pissed off. Now, on flip side, Nick Bosa, I agree. He shouldn't have been an All-Pro this year. A lot of people say, oh, Nick Bosa. And I love Nick Bosa. I think he's a tremendous player. But this year, compared to the years past, it was a down year for him. Like, I know he did get a lot of pressures. He still had a decent season. 10.5 sacks isn't nothing to, scoff about. But you got to look at the players that were also selected as All-Pros around, TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, I think Micah Parsons, and then Max Crosby. Like, who is Nick Bosa replacing on that list? And those guys were phenomenal this year. Maybe Parsons, you could probably say he played better than Parsons at, points of the season. But there were stretches of the season where Parsons was lights out. So, but head to head, I think, Bosa kind of outplayed him. But there were times where Bosa didn't put any stats on the stat sheet. And again, it's not just sacks, but I think this definitely was a down year for him. And it's hard for me to say he deserves that instead of Max Crosby, TJ Watt, and Myles Garrett. You can't say he did. And those guys played absolutely fantastic this year. I think Nick Bosa is going to see this and say, okay, next year, I got to prove that I am worth the money. Because I think there's a lot of people that said, you know what, Nick Bosa took the money and he kind of, fell off this year. But guess what? Next year, he's going to use that as motivation and probably play even better. But you know what? Also,
use it in the playoffs. Why wait till next year?
Going into the playoff, well, next year too, because he's going to have a All-Pro season next year. But I think going into the playoffs, I think Nick is going to wreak havoc. He had a couple of weeks to rest. And also, too, you know what? People are doubting him. People are saying, you didn't do great this year. Show me why you're getting paid that money. And this is a prime opportunity for Nick Bosa to go out in the next 3 games and just dominate everybody and say, I am the alpha edge rusher in the NFL. So this is a prime opportunity for him. So people that, you know, don't get voted or don't get the accolades, in a way, it's good because they can use it as motivation. Say, oh, okay, you think this guy's better than me? Let me prove you that I'm the best. So in a way, it's good. But at the same time, I think it's justified that he didn't make a all pro list. So
Yeah, you got to take off your Homer hat sometimes, and I don't mean Homer Simpson. I mean like Homer, as in like the team you cheer for,
yeah,
and like just. I think Bosa, he just to me seemed off this year. I don't know the delay of not coming in training camp. I don't know.
he was
You
rusty
could
when
you
he
could
started.
make comments that maybe he didn't play as hard this year.
I mean, I don't think he didn't play hard. I just think he was behind the eight ball. I mean, he didn't go into training camp. He didn't practice. Like, you know, I'm sure he was out there in Florida keeping his body toned up because he looked like he
Oh,
was
he
an.
looks like a like a every woman's friggin' fantasy.
Yeah,
His
but
body is 100% muscle and like 2% like water or something. Like
yeah, it's
I don't
crazy. Like
know.
he's in incredible shape, but I do feel like the time off really hurt him early in the season because he was missing out there. It was like he ghosted you. It's like when you get ghosted. That's what I feel like Nick Bosa did. I feel like he ghosted us for a while, but I'm still happy that he's on the damn team. I wouldn't want to go line up against him, and I think he's going to have a
Right.
absolutely great playoff run, and that could, you know what? Because the season's not over yet. The season is still. This is the second half of the season. If he goes out there and has a generational run in the third, these next 3 games, nobody's going to care about that regular season. Nobody's going to even care because the playoffs is what matters. Arik Armstead, he missed several games. If he goes out there and has a generational playoff, people are going to remember like Arik Armstead helped us win a Super Bowl. Nick Bosa helped us win a Super Bowl. None of the regular season stuff matters anymore. We have 3 games. If you lose, you're out of there. Fucking cares about the regular season. Put up, shut up, go out there, have 3 great games, and we'll remember you forever.
Yeah, well, you'll be a legend forever, and they never like Bill Belichick or excuse Bill Parcells says, you're world champions, and they can never take it away from you. They can't once you win it. I want to change the subject, kind of largely
Yeah.
to something that happened over the week, early part of the week. We lost some legends in the coaching world, as far as like they're stepping down. One in college, and one of the biggest ones that affect the 49ers is Pete Carroll is no longer the coach of the Seattle Seahawks. Your thoughts?
Yeah, man. What a last few days in coaching world. Like I'm sitting there going, no. Oh my God, no. Oh my God, no. Like, okay, so you had Pete Carroll, right? In a span of 24 hours. Pete Carroll, one of the greatest head coaches. I mean, maybe
Say
not
what you want about him. He's a great coach.
great coach. Maybe not the greatest in the NFL, but he did win a Super
No,
Bowl. He's a good coach in the NFL. But in college, this guy he made a massive dynasty with the USC. Those Trojan teams were so damn good with Reggie Bush and Liddell White and all those. Like those teams were so much fun. Matt Leinart, like man, those were some of the best football teams I ever watched. And again, he was a football legend. And then you had Nick Saban, probably the greatest football head coach of all time in my era. The years I've been alive, Nick Saban, like you're always like, God, Alabama, they're back, Alabama, and then that's just like this guy created so many superstars. Like there was a list, they listed out all the players that he's responsible for getting drafted in the NFL. It's crazy, man. Like you just know he's been one of the most talented coaches. And then his buddy, the guy that they coached together in Cleveland before all this stuff happened, Bill Belichick, one of the greatest head coaches of all time. He's not going to be coaching anymore with the Patriots, at least. He still might coach somewhere else. It's crazy. I mean, Pete Carroll, say what you want. He had the 49ers numbers for years. I don't know. It's going to be a frenzy. And that's why I said, like earlier, the Niners are losing coaches. And it just shows you that some coaches, like Kyle Shanahan, he has such a great coaching tree. And now he might one day be remembered like Saban or Belichick. If he can get the monkey off his back and start winning Super Bowls, who knows? In 20 years, we're going to be like, man, remember when
he could
Kyle
be
Shanahan?
he could be Andy Reid.
He could be. You never
All
know.
those years he could have won a Super Bowl, and then he finally gets his quarterback. Now he's got two,
Yeah,
and
so
he's
it's
considered
crazy.
one of the best ever. So
He could be. You never know. He might be in that talk one day, but it is crazy to see all those coaches just that's a big part of my childhood watching every single one of those coaches. And the crazy thing about Nick Saban, I can say I got to witness his final game live. the Rose Bowl. That game was a heck of a game, and I can always say I got to witness the downfall of Nick Saban. That crazy, crazy.
The best Niner fan, who I hope changes his name again if we win the Super Bowl. He says, "Imagine if Harbaugh went to Seattle." I've been thinking about that a lot, and to be honest with you, it scares the living crap out of me.
Can you imagine?
Because he will
Revenge.
make them believe.
Yeah, and then you get revenge on the Niners.
That would suck. Well, the Niners can get revenge on him and still beat him.
Yeah,
We'll
but
see. Let's not worry about that right now because it hasn't happened. Hopefully, he'll go to a team like the Bears or something.
what do you think about
And
Belichick? Where's he going? Where do you think he's going?
I think Bill Belichick is going to go to a place like the Chargers.
I think the Chargers would be the best destination. They got a great quarterback, Justin Herbert. I've heard rumors about the Falcons. If I'm him, I'm taking that Chargers job.
The only problem is the Chargers don't have a fan base. Atlanta does.
Yeah,
I don't
true.
think he cares, though. He just cares about doing his thing.
Well, you got to think about it this way. If he goes to Atlanta, they play a garbage division. He could probably win that division. You go to the Chargers, you got to play against Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes every year, twice a year.
Yeah, I think him. Yeah, he's going to want to go to a place where he can get at least 5 wins a year, at least. Otherwise, he's going to be getting spanked all the time until he gets a real team.
Yeah, you don't want that. I don't know.
I don't think he's going to be around super long. I mean, he's
72.
How long are these guys going to keep going? I mean, like they're in their 70s. Man, my 70s. If I'm alive, I'll be happy.
I know.
Let alone coaching an NFL team
at a high level like that. That's what's incredible. Like people could say what they want about these guys, but bro, they're in their 70s coaching. Like that's a lot of work. Coaching, game film, studying, game planning. And I think that's what Nick Saban said for part of it. It's just got harder as I got older. Like it literally started catching up with me, and at some point you just got to throw in the towel. And I think too with college, the NIL that changes the game, the transfer portal. It's a different game than when Nick Saban was able to recruit every single great player, and now he can't recruit people, or the recruits he gets that are sitting in the bench. Oh, I'm going to transfer to another team because I'm not getting.
I'm going to go to Colorado and play with Dion.
Yeah, and that's the thing about the transfer portal. Any team can get stars that are just sitting around. Like, let's say you have 3 blue chip quarterbacks, and you're like, okay, this quarterback's going to play for 2 years. Then the next guy's going to come in, and then that final guy will be, after those 2 years. And it was easy. You could just get all the great quarterbacks, let them sit there, develop, use their redshirt years. Now, say quarterback 3 sitting there going, man, I want to play. I want to get drafted. I want to be a number 1 pick. Guess what? I'm transferring from Alabama to Washington, and then you become this great quarterback, and then NIL deals, you get number 1 picks and stuff like. So the game has changed. Before, Saban and Carroll and all these guys, they were able to get these quarterbacks and these draft picks or these prospects and just sit them and sit them and sit them until they needed them. Now, those guys that are sitting, they're not going to sit around with their hands on their ass. They're going to go to a team that can use them and be a starter and showcase their talents. So,
let's talk about something. I want to kind of bring it back to the Niners and the playoffs.
Yeah.
What is your biggest concern going into the playoffs?
Just gotta stay healthy, man. Because if this team can stay healthy, I don't see anybody beating them. There's no team in the NFC I feel that could beat the 49ers if they're healthy and they're playing at their peak. I think they're going to be focused, like George Kittle said. Everybody's kind of locked in and playing with that focus. I think they do have a sense of urgency, like he said, and they're focused. But the one thing that can hurt them is just injuries. They're their own worst enemy. If they get hurt, we've seen it before. Like,
look at the Miami Dolphins. They're a perfect study case of what happens when you lose all your best players.
Yeah, their team is ravaged, man. Like if I'd be surprised if they win tomorrow against Kansas City, but
I don't think they're going to. My brother doesn't think so either.
It sucks because they lost so many players due to injuries, and that's unfortunate. And that's what the Niners have done over the years. When they get to the playoffs, they've kind of fallen short because they've had injuries and really impacted them. Like they are, I feel, at the best position they've been in a long time. They don't really have big time injuries. There's been a few injuries, like Talanoa Hufanga. You could say that's probably
Clelin Ferrell.
Clelin Ferrell, but Arik Armstead's back. CMC will be back. I feel like they have enough depth to absorb those 2 losses. So I feel compared to the rest of the league, like they don't have like one of their most important players out. Like Christian McCaffrey's going to be there, Debo, Kittle, IU, Purdy, Trent Williams, like the main guys they need, Fred Warner, they're going to be there, and they got good depth. They made sure to get good depth. They went and got veteran, Joseph Day. They went and got Logan Ryan. They went and got these guys.
Yep.
So I don't know, man. If they can stay healthy, they're going to
Did
be good.
you see? Speaking of replacing people, what about a guy like Robert Beal?
Let's
I was
talk about.
watching. Somebody made a video about him, and I was watching it, and I don't know who the guy is, and I'm not really trying to steal his thunder, but all I did, he was showing some of the he gave the positives of what he can do and his skill set, but then he was like he could never get in the starting lineup in college, and like what's the real reason, and that he talked about his size, his arm length, he's 6'4", he's a little light, but it was just like, what is this guy? Are we seeing like a really raw version of a guy that in a couple of years could be something? And then you see a guy like Drake Jackson, who we took ahead of him, who's not even going to be in the playoff run, and who knows, by this time next year, he might have been off the team for 4 months, 6 months by the time we talk about him next year. I know it's like a random question, but are you kind of intrigued, or is he just going to be a forgotten guy? Like I'm somewhat intrigued by Robert Beal.
Well, I'm absolutely. He's a secret weapon. Like let's talk about this because okay, first reason I think Robert Beal didn't get starting reps is, yeah, he's still raw talent in college. He played at Georgia. Georgia's D line it's pretty damn good. So like to crack that starting line, you had to be like this crazy talent, which he was, but he wasn't as good because he was still kind of in the depth chart lower, and he was still developing. And he's a speed guy, but he's really good. I think if he would have been a starter anywhere else, I think people would have saw him flying off the film, the tape. This guy's quick, but I think again, he doesn't really have a lot of polished moves. He's still
Right.
kind of, just raw, and I think that's why Chris Kasurik saw him and he's like, "Holy crap, I can make this guy something."
I can mold this guy into
Mold him, some time. He's just this raw prospect. But the great thing about Robert Beal is, yeah, okay, he was hurt at the beginning of the season. It took him some time to get there, but now he's fresh legs, Aaron. He's fresh legs. This league, every team has played 17 games. This man is fresh. He's 23 years old, fresh legs. He's a speed rusher off the edge. Are you kidding me? This is the best thing that could have happened to the 49ers, is having this guy actually having to miss time in the beginning of the season. Because what happens with rookies? They play, they get tired, they
hit a wall,
and then they can't do anything. But now it's the reverse. He hit his wall early. Now he's fresh and rested and ready to go down for the stretch run. So 3 games, this guy can give this team so much reps. And again, okay, Clelin Ferrell's hurt. You can take some time off because we got Robert Beal. Drake Jackson, he had surgery this week, as we saw. And guess what? Take your time, young buck, because we got Robert Beal, and he's fresh, he's ready, he's hungry.
That's a lot of people are forgetting about him, including myself, because I was thinking like,
he's the X factor.
We got Gregory, but we're losing out not having
he's going to be the
Ferrell. I feel like if we make the Super Bowl, we'll have Clelin Ferrell for the Super Bowl.
I think Clelin will be there maybe by the NFC Championship, maybe the Super Bowl. But I think he's the reason why they're like, okay, Clelin, take some time, rest. We got Robert Beal. He's speed off the. This man is pure speed. And guess what? If you're double teaming Nick Bosa, you're not going to be worried about if this guy has technique. He's going to be running past your ass. What are you going to do when Nick Bosa?
Rush the quarterback, man. That's all we want you to do, homie.
All we want to do. Rush that quarterback, put fear in his eyes, make him uncomfortable, and make him spin and turn. Oh, crap, Nick Bosa's right here. Robert Beal, to me, is my X-Factor secret weapon for the playoffs. Nobody's talking about this guy. Great point. I'm glad you brought him up.
Thank you. One thing that I asked you at the beginning, what concerns you? My concern, I already saw it in the comments. My concern is Jake Moody. I have no confidence in him. None. I don't want him touching the field. His body language, I said it on a stream the other day. I want to slap the shit out of this guy.
Oh, God. I'm not worried like everybody else is. Again, you got to remember, man, they didn't have Brock Purdy CMC in that game. I don't think it's going to come down to kicks. And you know what?
That's too many. No.
He's missed 5 field goals in the season. Robbie Gould did that last year. He missed 1 extra point. People are overblowing it. It was a meaningless. This is a game last week that you want to make. You get
That's why you should be making them, because it's
no, get it out of your
meaningless.
system. I'm not worried about Jake Moody. I'm
You know I
not.
love you, man. I'm just
I
he
know.
just his whole aura just
You're
doesn't sit well with
everybody
me.
else is sick. Trust me. I'm trying to stay positive, Aaron, because I'm not gonna lie to you though. If it does come down to a game-winning field goal, I'm gonna be pacing. I'm gonna have Maylocks, just like eating tons of Maylocks. I'm gonna be like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I'm not gonna say I'm not nervous, but I think he's going to be fine. And again, I don't expect the 49ers to have to be in that situation.
Yeah, win all your games by 20 points,
Yeah,
guys.
baby, do it.
Yeah, be like how we were during the regular season. He looks like a weasel, right? Don't he? He looks like a weasel, but like he kind of reminds me of like Elvin and the Chipmunks, man. Like he just
Oh man, y'all.
he has a very punchable face. Put it
Okay,
that way.
I get it. Listen,
I
man.
know I'm a freaking aggressive
No,
guy
no,
when it
no,
comes
no,
to
no. I want to say this because I've said it all season long. Kyle Shanahan drafting him this early will always put him in this because people are always going to say, "Well, you shouldn't have drafted the kicker." He's been under the pressure cooker from day one, so I think he'll be okay. But you're right. The moment he gets, if he has to go for a game-winning field goal in the playoffs, that is going to be his defining moment for the rest of his young career. Because if he makes it, everybody's gonna love the guy. They're gonna just, oh my God, Jake Moody, oh we love you. Oh my God, he's the hero. If he
girls
misses,
will be saying they want Jake Moody to
yeah,
have their
yeah.
baby.
If he misses it, Aaron, if he misses a game-winning field goal or
Pitchforks.
or whatever the case, this man better deactivate every single social media account he has because he's going. And I hate this. He's gonna get a lot of threats. It's gonna be nasty. I get threats when the team loses. I know the players do.
What?
I've seen players get nasty like you see it on
No,
my
but I'm gonna hold on. You said you get threats?
all the time, bro. It's crazy.
What do you have to do with them
I know,
winning?
but that's how the fan base they get emotional, they get sick to their stomach.
Come
But
after me.
the other thing is in the comments you always see, oh fuck this, fuck Luno, fuck blah 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 blah. You know, they get mad at the player that messes up. Okay, if that's just in the comment section of a post, imagine what they're saying to the actual player they're DMing, you know. So
I used to be a jerk for a while, but I never threatened players. I used to just say they were soft and they sucked. I
it's
never went at a guy and was like, I hope you get sick with a disease or die. Like, that's just dumb.
people
I
do it. Yo,
used to.
trust me. I've had players actually like show me the messages, like, bro, look at this. What I was like, that's kind of crazy, dude. It's what
Man, who said? Are you saying I'm all bark?
no,
No,
no.
I'm a dude. You want to threaten me? Please. I embrace it. I'm a psycho.
I do hope that Moody has his head straight because I think a lot of it's
This is totally what I was thinking. Is a mood or not better pull a Mar in the playoffs. Otherwise, it's on site. You mean like someone's gonna kick his ass on site? Like
yeah, that's the term.
somebody just rushes the field and does like a spinning heel kick and just
I I I,
listen.
I
I'm
did,
not promoting. I am not. I'm not promoting violence. And Lola, the truth says, I want all the smoke. Always, I
yeah.
want all the smoke.
He does want all the smoke, but again, at the end of the day, whether you believe in him or not, he's going to be under a lot of pressure. Every kicker is in the playoffs. It's just you have one job. If you miss it, people hate you. If you make it, you're the hero. It's literally that simple. It's you make it, they love you. You miss it, they hate you. It's a lot of pressure for a kicker. That's your job. And if you
That's your job. You have one job all year, and then you go and do it, and you fail. It's just
it's tough, man.
it. Julius says that Jake Moody only misses kicks when the game is a preseason five. That's the
Yeah,
worst reason.
I said that last week. I said, look at the preseason, look at the game. Okay, the only game that wasn't the preseason vibe was that Cleveland game because that was an important kick. But pretty much, I feel like he missed like when the games don't matter. I feel like okay, he probably's like whatever, it don't matter. I'm just gonna be whatever. He
It
goes,
said he misses them in bunches, though.
he does, but he got it out of his system.
He better have got it. I just don't understand how you can be that mentally weak. Mentally weak. You're that fragile as a kicker. Like all somebody has to do is go timeout, and now you're gonna miss 7 kicks in a row. How, dude? I don't understand that.
I don't know, man.
I'd take Robbie Gold's teeny tiny leg over this Dude, and I was cheering, I was clapping and acting all ridiculous, like telling my brother, "We got the best kicker in the draft, yay!" And
Like,
now I feel like a complete wiener, man. Like it's, oh my gosh.
you know what though? Like, here's the thing. Here's the reality of the situation. Which free agent kicker sitting on the couch that has who's gonna come in and dust their leg off? Robbie Gold's not
Robbie
gonna.
Gold.
He hasn't played all year. He's not gonna dust his leg off and all of his.
You
This
paid him $10 million for one game, 2 games, he would come to the 49ers.
and what if he misses a kick?
Then yeah, that's true.
It's
I don't know, man.
like a kick. Every kicker, it's pressure, man. I got faith in Jake. I think he's gonna. This is my take. I think he's gonna make a game-winning kick or a big kick, and everybody's gonna give him his flowers. But just know this. Just know this. I don't think it's gonna need to come down to that point. I think there was a comment in there that says it's gonna take like a collapse for the 49ers to come down to a game-winning field goal situation. I agree. I just don't see the 49ers being in that position. I think this offense is going to do what it needs to do. Yeah, Chris says it would take a gigantic Niner collapse for a game to come down to a Moody game-winning field goal. I can't see any defense containing it. I 100% full seal stamp approve that. I 100% agree with that.
The only thing that would be worse from Moody missing kicks is that people who make 49er rap to continue to re-release the same song 7,000 times. Like, Niner rap is corny to begin with, but when you kind of re-release it and kind of package it, but it's still the suck-ass song that it was in the beginning, that's just as bad as Moody missing kicks. So, yeah.
Oh,
sorry.
Wow.
Like I said, I want all the smoke, baby.
You want all the smoke, man.
And I know Bashar appreciates what I just did. I did it for Bashar. Bashar is all about shock value.
Don't bring a Niner rap to Aaron, apparently. I'm not going
to bring me Niner rap, dude. I don't want to hear about 49er faithful ride with me.
Oh.
Dude, can we make a new song, please? Please?
Oh, my God. Bringing all the smoke.
Come at me. Don't come at him. Come at me. All here.
Thoughts, Aaron, before we are done. So, wild card weekend. What are your thoughts on the NFC wild card, AFC wild card too? What are your thoughts this weekend on the games? What do you think?
I'm not really focused too much in the AFC, to be honest with you. I guess I should be, but I'm just focused on the 4 teams that the Niners are going to face. Cowboys, Packers, Bucks, and Rams. I don't want to see the Rams. I'm be perfectly honest. People are like, why? Are you afraid? Yeah, in a way, maybe just because they're a rival team, they're a division team, and they know us. The best thing about the playoffs when you play teams that you don't play all the time is you have an advantage.
Yeah.
I forget how it goes. So it's the lowest seed remaining of the teams that are left after this coming weekend's games. So that would be, somebody said if Green Bay wins, they automatically come to San Francisco. Is that correct?
What was that?
So it's supposed to. I have no problem with E40, by the way. Just saying. So the playoffs, it's supposed to be the remaining. So whoever has the lowest seed of the remaining teams. Mm-hmm. And then somebody else said to me, if Green Bay wins, that's automatically.
It's automatic because they're the lowest seed. They're the 7th. So let's run through these real quick before we head off. So we got Packers, Cowboys. If the Packers can pull off the upset in AT&T Stadium, they're going to play the Niners. No matter, the other teams don't matter. If the Packers win, Niners, Packers. Okay, so Niners, Packers in the division round. Packers got a good young team. They got some solid players. Jordan Love, he's played really good. He's been He's been on fire lately. They got some young players on defense that are pretty good. It's an underrated team. I think people are overlooking them. They got Luke Musgrave, Romeo Dobbs. They got Christian Watson. They got some really strong players. They got a good coach. I think they could pull off the upset, but I think the kicker here is Dallas, just too good at home. AT&T Stadium. I feel like Dallas is going to win this game, but I think this might be one heck of a game. You can't count out the Packers. They've played really good. Rashawn Gary on defense. They got some players, man. I think they'll make this a game, but I think it's a team that's still too young, and they're going to need to learn from this. But I think it's going to be a heck of a game. Jordan Love versus Dak Prescott, man. If the Packers win, they play the Niners. But who do you think's winning that game? You think Cowboys win that game?
I think Dallas will win.
Yeah, I think so
too. Good, too talented, and they're at home.
Yeah, I think the home.
If it was in Green Bay, Green Bay wins that game, hands down.
I agree. But Dallas at home is a different team. On the road, yeah, they're not so hot. So the other game, then if okay, so if Dallas wins, we don't have to worry about the Packers. So then NFC wildcard round, the other game would be Sunday at 5 p.m. This is the Rams Lions. Now, if the Rams win this game, then they play the 49ers because they'd be the lowest remaining seed if Dallas beats Green Bay. So you got the Rams and the Lions. This is a big showdown. You got Jared Goff playing his former team, Matt Stafford playing his former team. Like, this is the script writers. This was their game. This was the script writer saying, "Oh, we did it. Matt Stafford and the Rams versus Jared Goff of the Lions." This is the script writers like grand opening for the playoffs. This is going to be a heck of a game. The Lions, another team, young team. They're happy to be in the playoffs. They haven't been here for years. This is the first time they won a
They
division.
really don't have any pressure.
There's no pressure. They're just happy to be here. Rams are on a heater. This is a toss-up to me. I could see the Rams winning, but I could also see the Lions winning because they're.
I'm going Lions.
Are you?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take the Rams on this one, man. I just think the Rams are coming in hot. They got Stafford, McVay. That offense is heating up. Kyron Williams. I think.
Where's the game?
What's that?
Where's the game?
It's in Detroit.
I'm definitely taking the Lions. If it was in LA, I could say a 50-50 split, but
okay.
I know anything, people. I don't know, man.
I'm taking the Rams on an upset, and that would set up San Francisco versus LA. But I could see why the Lions, great team, Dan Campbell. This should be a huge win for that franchise. But if they lose, I think it's a game where they really learn and figure out what they do moving forward. But I mean, the Lions being in the playoffs, it's amazing for them. The last game, Monday night, the Eagles and the Buccaneers. If the Lions win, like you said, then it's going to be the Eagles versus Buccaneers. The winner of this game would play the 49ers because they'd be the lowest remaining seed. So Eagles, Bucks, the Eagles are on a free fall. They're injured. Jalen Hurts is on an injury watch.
Something's going on with their receiver, too.
A.J. Brown deactivated his social medias. He's hurt. They're on a free fall. Devonta Smith.
I'm to San Francisco, AJ.
I don't know. This whole team is falling apart. The 49ers broke their soul. They exposed them. The Buccaneers at home, I think they're going to beat this. I think they're going to beat the Eagles. And this is a team last year that was in the NFC Championship. They went to the Super Bowl, the Eagles. I think the Buccaneers.
Did you see the reports that they could fire Sirianni?
I saw that.
If they have a collapse.
Can you imagine?
Think about that. That peacocking, arrogant son of you-know-what. Mr. looking at the camera and nodding. Gives all American Italians a bad name. We don't act like that. Only that punk ass does. I hated it. Bashar knows how I am about people who don't represent Italian people the right way. So I'm all about, if he gets fired, I might have to make a video. Might have to buy an Eagles jersey or something that says Sirianni on it and just do a little fat boy dance with my belly. Just like, woohoo, but we'll see.
I mean, it's possible that he gets fired because look at the coaches that we just talked about earlier. Imagine that the Eagles go and say, "Hey, Bill Belichick, come to Philly, work with Jalen Hurts and AJ Green, baby." Like, there's so many good coaches available right now.
Sirianni, would you really be willing to take that unit of players and give it to an old ass coach like him?
Belichick's one of the greatest coaches of all time. I would.
Is he though? No. Listen, I was all about him and Tom Brady being like symbionts, right? But he can't win without a real quarterback. But maybe I guess the rest of the league can't either.
Respect the heck out of Bill Belichick. But yeah, man, I think the Eagles are losing this game. I feel a lot of teams, they fell apart. If they fall apart, Sirianni better get used to. That seat might get very, very hot for him. Very hot for him. Whew, that's spicy. What do you think?
Like somebody's frying freaking arancini up in that place.
Who do you think?
I think the Bucks win.
So
I think the Eagles are done.
Okay.
Stick a fork in them. If the Eagles win that game, that would be really weird. I'd be like, huh? It would be like against type. Like all of a sudden they're going to turn it on in a playoff game, and it's in Tampa, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just
Baker, baby, Baker.
A lot of 49er fans want to face them and break them, but we already broke them. So
if the Buccaneers win, they play the Niners. No sweat, right? Now, if the Eagles win, 49ers Eagles division round.
Oh, somebody said it was a shit take. What's a shit take? Tell me, please.
That's a shit take, Aaron.
My rap talk, I'm just being an idiot. I'm being goofy. That's all.
I don't know. But
All
yeah,
right.
Eagles, if the 49ers play the Eagles division round, would you be worried about them or no? Because they're falling apart.
Uh,
Still a dangerous team, right?
it's still a danger. Yeah, that's the thing. And they're still a dangerous team who has a lot of good players. Um, but I just don't think they're good. I think they're tapped out for the year. Um, oh, about Baker cooking them? No, I just think the Eagles are toast, man.
I
To
don't
be
think it's.
honest with you,
I think Baker's going to cook them. I do. I. We'll see. We'll see
Kurt's
who's
got
right.
a mangled finger, and I see Brown erased his Eagles content from his page. Yeah, that's some weird stuff, man.
Right before a big playoff game, you kind of disengage. But maybe he's doing it to focus on. I don't know. Man. It's just weird because he has been getting a lot of hate comments. So maybe he just wanted to like focus and worry about social media.
That's
Like,
the thing about social media with these young cats, and even some of us old heads like myself. Like it's oh, my Belichick take was a shit take. I'm
oh
sorry.
yeah, Belichick.
I know. I'm just being. You know what? Hey, listen, man. I'm old enough to where I have a couple bad takes in me. You gotta let me have them. But yeah, you're probably right. He's probably a really good coach. I'm not even a Brady guy. I'm a Montana guy. Okay, so for me to give Brady credit hurts enough as it is.
Yeah,
So
I
if
will
I'm
say
giving him
this,
credit,
I will
go
say
ahead.
this, Aaron, about the Buccaneers. Like, I'm not. If the Eagles beat them, it's not going to be like a surprise because the Buccaneers. There was someone in the comments that said they barely beat the Carolina Panthers. What they beat them like 9-0, 12-0, something like. You barely beat the Panthers. That could be a little concern coming into this playoff game, unless they weren't playing their hardest because it
Right.
was game of the season. But I mean, to barely beat the Panthers walking into the playoffs doesn't strike fear if you're the Eagles. So if you're the Eagles, saying, "Hey, they barely beat the Panthers. We're the defending NFC championships. We got to step up." So I think it'll be a good game, but I ultimately see the Buccaneers pulling off the upset. I think it's an upset if the Buccaneers beat the Eagles, but it's gonna be fun, man. I'm excited. I
Yeah,
cannot see who the
it's going to
fourth.
be an interesting weekend. We don't have to watch any football, but
Oh yeah, we do. We're
I
watching.
mean, no, I'm not. I don't. We don't have to watch any football that has any effect on us emotionally. Just personal takes and our wants of who we want to play. I'm just like, man, the time for talk is done. Even with us content creators, I feel like we've said what we could say about everything. I'm kind of glad that the Adam Peters stuff happened today
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like there's such a a big time gap between the last game that we played that meant something
Mm-hmm.
and this playoff game. So like the Adam Peters stuff makes you think like, is this the last hurrah for this current group of players? It's always going to be a last hurrah for a current group of players because your team's different every single season. I mean, the majority of the Niners will be back next year,
Mm-hmm.
but guys, like for instance, Trent Williams, if they win a Super Bowl, why come back?
He's done.
You
He's good.
got
He got his championship right off in the sunset. You're
I
right.
would dip. I would take my broken 6'5", 300+ body. He's a monster. He's one of my favorite players, but
Yeah.
he's hurt a lot. And
I mean, look at how he plays. He's such a phenomenal player. He's a beast in the trenches. In the
yep.
trench,
And he
but
will defend his players. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. In the NFC Championship game last year, when he spiked that dude off the ground, I was so happy.
I was too, bro. Because
I was like,
nothing was
"What?"
going right, and we were all pissed. Like you could tell, everybody they probably were as pissed as us. Not having a fair chance, and I felt like that was Trent Williams just doing that for the whole Niner faithful, like just taking out every single ounce of aggression everybody had. Like I think that was him just saying like, "F this, F you, I'm pissed." That was like what
They
everybody.
were done anyways.
I think every
So why
Niner
not take a 180-pound defensive back and crush him?
we needed that. I think every Niner fan needed that at that moment. That was therapeutic. I love Trent Williams, man. He's one of my favorite players of all time. I'm going to miss this guy when he's gone. Like, I don't want to even think about it. But if they win a Super Bowl, Aaron, he's retiring in this. And I don't blame him, man. He's
No.
grinded 14 years. He's battled cancer. This guy has done everything. All pro, Pro Bowler, the greatest left tackle I've ever seen play the game, man. I want to see him win a ring. Just like
Him,
Bud says, Kittle.
Kittle, Armstead, you could say what you want about him, but he's been here from when it sucked to be a 49er till now.
He's an
As
OG.
much as I can get on him for feeling like maybe he's overpaid, he deserves a ring. Kittle deserves a ring. They all do, but certain guys deserve it more.
So many players, man. Debo Samuel deserves that.
Debo, Christian McCaffrey, guys that are backups like a Tayshaun Gibson. I would
Yeah.
love for a guy like him
I
to
would
get a
love to
ring.
see him. A freaking Fred Warner, man. He's the heart and
Fred
soul.
Warner, I mean, all of them. You could say all of them, but there is certain guys who you look at them and they're like, if anybody needs a ring to kind of cap off their career, where
Trent,
they
though.
could say tomorrow I'm quitting.
Trent, though, big time. You're right.
Arrivederci.
Armstead's a grinder. He went through so much adversity through his career. Like early on, people were calling him a bust. He couldn't stay healthy. Then he became really good, and then he got hurt. It's just he's so important to his team. But and he's an OG, man. He's the longest tenured Niner now. Respect to him, man. He lasted, transition, like coach change and GM change. Like that doesn't like usually when new guys take over, they're like, all right, we gotta get rid of this scrub, this guy. Let's get rid of all the old guys we can get. He lasted, man, and that speaks volumes of who he is. And you saw how the locker room, like when they played that video a couple months ago when they announced he was the Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee, like the players, those defensive linemen were like, we look up to him. He's our big brother. He's our guy. So guys like that definitely deserve it. I like the Tayshaun Gibson mention because he's a veteran, man, and he's been in this league for a long time. He deserves a chip. And yeah, honestly, man, Kittle, this guy was there for some dog years. When the 49ers first got Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch, he was one of their first draft picks and he has been through everything. He went through quarterback after quarterback, quarterback. That season in 2018 was one of the worst seasons I could remember over the last couple of years. And he was the reason that I would wake up every week and say, man, I can't wait to see the 49ers. Even though they were dog trash, you just knew George Kittle over the middle, Kittle over the. That's when I used to stream the games. And I would be front and center. We'd watch it. And every time I was like, Kittle, I would lose my mind. Kittle over the middle. That man made that season so much fun.
Every time I see this, I'm always like, yeah.
Bro, when he broke that record that year, I was just like, well, dude, George Kittle's the man, and he deserves a ring.
Do you find yourself standing up when he does the first down and doing the same thing?
Oh, always.
Always.
Gotta do
I'm
it.
freaking 44 years old, and I stand up and do the boop.
Yeah. VZ said our year we've been through too much. We really have.
VZ, we've been through too much for a long time. We've put up with a lot as fans. It's time, dude. It really is. It really is time. Yeah. It would break my heart if they fell short again. I don't know what would hurt worse. Getting dumped at the altar or the when you're about to get the ring put on your finger, or the 49ers figuring out a way to biff this season. I think the 49ers losing might take the cake on that one and I've never gotten close to getting married, so I wouldn't know.
I don't know. Don't do it. I don't know. You make me stressed now. So let's hope they put it together.
I know. Hey guys, don't come at. Well, you know what? Come at me if they lose. I lost like 100 subscribers in 2019 when we lost. People just unsubscribed to the channel. Like they blamed me. Okay, so you want to blame somebody? Blame First Takes. Don't blame Raj. He's more connected than a lot of content creators out there with the 49ers. So if you want to believe anything from anybody, listen to that guy.
I like the comments. Appreciate you, my man. I like the comments that say Kittle. Oh, he did say, I will be back with the vengeance. He's going to be back. I can't wait when they're in the Super Bowl and to play that clip. That clip's going to go mega viral. I can't wait to play it because Kittle's going to be back with the vengeance. So
at least 100 people left my channel.
That is crazy.
They pieced out.
They pieced. That sucks, man. I hope you have success. I love you, Aaron. You're a good dude. I don't.
But and you guys say I'm crazy. I'm totally crazy. I'm insane.
You are. But wouldn't want it any other way. Any final takes, concerns? What's going on with you this weekend other than watching?
I'm on with Bashar tomorrow. Hopefully everything's good. Similar show, probably a similar vibe. There'll probably be some singing because I like to sing. One more question for you. Actually, two quick ones.
Okay.
What's your take on the 2024 opponents? We go to Miami and go to Buffalo next year. You need to make it. You need to come cross country.
I know.
And go to Buffalo with me.
Fun schedule next year. I think we talked about it briefly last week. That's a fun schedule. So many road games I would love to see. I wouldn't mind going to Buffalo. I've never been to the East Coast, so definitely be able to go down there, check a game out.
I'll keep you warm. I'm
sure
fat. I'll stand next to you. I'll absorb all the cold.
The one game I want to go to though on a road game would be Green Bay. I want to go to Lambeau, man, because that to me is like one of those stadiums.
That's football.
Yeah, you need to experience that. So I think next year, if I do go on a road game, I'm going to Green Bay, and I'm going to try to get Gold Bar to sponsor me to go to that one. So that's the one I think I want to go to because they sponsored me to go to Arizona this year. Heck of a time. I think that's the one.
That's awesome.
That's the one.
And then real
Miami.
quickly, Miami would be awesome. Me and my brother are talking about it. It's probably not going to happen.
You got to do it. You got to do it.
Jared's like, all right, well, yeah. I'm like, let's just do it, bro. Quickly.
Yeah.
Ronnie Bell has taken a huge drop off this team, and he's kind of become persona non. What is that? Persona non grata.
Yeah.
Juwan Jennings and Ray being back. Have we seen the last of Bell for the year?
I mean, for the year probably, and I don't think it's anything bad. I'm sure he'll be there on special teams, but I don't expect him to have a larger role because Juwan Jennings is back. Thank God the man's back.
Thank God, man. I'm so glad. I was worried about that.
Me too.
Ooh.
He had the bell ringing, man. Whatever he did, he got a bad concussion. But I'm glad he's back. We need that. His energy, he's that just attitude. That
we need those third down catches that are 2 yards that turn into 15.
We need that guy's energy. I'm glad he's back. And he's another guy. The other day I said I think he's going to be my breakout player for the playoffs, like the X factor. If you want to talk about X factors, I think he's the guy. He's in a contract year. Remember, 3 games to go to prove you can get some money. And I'm really happy he's back. And yeah, Ray's back. I think that's going to take away Ronnie Bell. And it has nothing to do with his skill set. He's a rookie. He's made mistakes. And what did we talk about earlier? Sometimes rookies just hit that wall. I think Ronnie has. Kyle needs to make sure he has the veterans and the players that are ready to take them to the next level, to the Super Bowl. Ronnie will have his chance. He'll be part of the future, and they'll develop him. He'll continue to get better. But right now, you need to make sure you have all hands on deck. You need your best players. Right now, Ronnie Bell's not one of the best players. He's definitely got a bright future. But the return of Juwan Jennings, the timing couldn't have been any better. So it was good for Ronnie Bell to get a lot of, experience and reps and snaps, and he'll learn a lot. But it's time for Juwan Jennings to come back and take his role.
100%. Yeah. Thank you, man. That was good. You did good. I think we've said everything we needed to say. Everybody have a great Saturday and Sunday watching football, and Monday.
Monday, baby.
I'll be back on tomorrow at 6 Eastern with Bashar, 49er Minded, where we get in the minds of 49er fans. My guy. So everybody, till then, I'll see you tomorrow. Raj will probably see you. I mean, he was on Instagram before we got on. He's probably going to be on Instagram after we get off. I don't know, or on his own channel. I
might try to stream the games on TikTok this weekend. We'll see. See how it goes.
Is that why you have your voice lowered, so you sound like this and stuff?
I don't know. I'm just tired. Sometimes my voice sounds.
No, you literally sounded like Satan took you over.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if the league does that on purpose. If there's audio playing in the background.
Oh yeah.
But you were sounding like Satan. You were sounding like Beelzebub, man. Maybe it was just my internet or my feed or something. I don't know. It was weird.
I don't know. That's weird. I hope.
All right, everyone.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you guys later.
Go Niners. Appreciate the support. Peace.
Yep. Take care, everyone. See ya.